1506, Florence. Leonardo da Vinci is putting the final touches on a painting destined to become legendary. A work that blends mythology, eroticism, and artistic genius in a way never seen before. That masterpiece vanished, dissolved into the mist of time. We are faced with a puzzle of epic proportions, pieces scattered across Europe, clues hidden in ancient documents, and at the center, an emptiness. Today, we seek to shed light on that emptiness, to reveal the secrets of Leda and the Swan. What lies behind this painted myth? Who dared to destroy it? We will decode hidden messages in sketches and copies, and perhaps, just perhaps, we will get closer to the truth behind one of the greatest mysteries in art. The story has very ancient origins, as it represents the moment when a god, Zeus, transformed into a swan and forcefully seduces Leda, the queen of the Spartans, on the banks of the Eurotas River. From this union, 2 eggs hatched, from which 4 children were born, Castor and Pollux, and Clytemnestra and Helen. What led Leonardo to choose this particular mythological subject? In my journey to uncover Leda and the Swan, I quickly realized I was facing a true enigma. The sources were scarce and contradictory. I spent hours searching for answers, flipping through old dusty tomes and browsing the farthest corners of the internet. But then, luck was on my side. While immersed in my research, I stumbled upon Tuscan website and found this, an extraordinary volume that gathers the life, works, and over 700 drawings of Leonardo da Vinci. This book became my guide on this journey through Leonardo's genius. It helped me reconstruct the context in which Leda and the Swan was conceived and how he transformed it into a revolutionary work of art. The quality of the reproductions is so high that I felt as if I were looking directly at the originals in Leonardo's studio. So I decided to contact Tuscan. I wanted to share with you the same excitement I felt. That's why I'm happy to announce that, thanks to this collaboration, you can get up to 75% off on a wide catalog of art books. If you want to dive into art like never before, click the link in the description. But now, let's return to the mystery of Leda and the Swan. Why was a Greek myth depicted even though Christianity was so widespread at the time? During the Renaissance, the ancient gods were considered to be historical figures who really existed. Kings, founders of cities, heroes, or great inventors, who were later deified by the Greeks for their deeds. For example, Mercury was seen as the first musician and the inventor of the alphabet, while Bacchus was credited with teaching how to produce wine. The gods and heroes of Greek mythology were also considered ancestors of peoples and nations. The Franks were believed to have descended from the Trojan hero Franco, the Germans and French from Hector. During the Renaissance, even some great noble families claimed to have a god or a hero from antiquity as their ancestor. The Dukes of Burgundy, for instance, boasted Hercules as the founder of their dynasty. Depicting Greek deities was a way to recognize the historical deeds of heroes, but also to give a divine origin to some important families of the time. Leonardo's client probably came from a noble family, but why did he choose this subject? We'll find out later. Leonardo da Vinci delved into the story of Leda and the Swan with a unique sensitivity that set his work apart from the traditional portrayals of this ancient myth. Traditionally, the story of Leda and the Swan centers on the moment of seduction. However, Leonardo chose a different path. Rather than emphasizing the act itself, he concentrated on Leda as a mother, standing or kneeling between her children, who were born from this divine union. This focused on Leda's role as a mother rather than a lover, allowing Leonardo to explore themes of love, motherhood, and the bond between parent and child. But did you know that Leonardo didn't just stop at one version of Leda's tale? In fact, he created 2 distinct compositions. One kneeling Leda and one standing. The kneeling Leda. Let me take you back to the mid-18th century, to a time when a painting first made its appearance in Paris in 1749. This intriguing artwork caught the attention of Landgrave Wilhelm VIII von Hesse-Kassel, who acquired it believing it to be a masterpiece by none other than Leonardo da Vinci himself. But was it really a Leonardo? The answer to this question would unravel slowly over the centuries, revealing a story as complex as the painting itself. When William VIII first laid eyes on the kneeling Leda, it looked quite different from what we see today. One of the children and the fragments of eggshells were obscured by layers of overpainting. Because of this, the painting was initially thought to depict Caritas, the personification of charity. Between 1806 and 1835, the overpainting was removed and the true subject began to emerge. The painting's journey didn't stop there. In 1806, it was seized by Napoleonic troops, leading to its sale in Paris. But Paris was just a stopover. The painting soon found itself in England, where it was auctioned by Christie's in London. Here it was bought by William VIII of Holland. The painting remained in his possession until 1850, at which point it entered the collection of the Prince of Wied in Neuwied. Finally, in 1962, after more than a century of travels, the kneeling Leda returned to Kassel, where it was restored twice. But who was the true creator of this mysterious painting? Today, art historians unanimously attribute the kneeling Leda to Giampietrino, a lesser-known but highly talented artist. Giampietrino was one of Leonardo's most dedicated followers. His works bear a striking resemblance to Leonardo's, and the influence of the master is undeniable. So, could it be that Giampietrino created the kneeling Leda while under Leonardo's direct supervision? Beyond its mysterious origins and journey, this painting is vital because it offers a glimpse into Leonardo's original composition, a design that is otherwise known only through drawings. Even though the swan, a central figure in the myth of Leda, is missing from the castle painting, the connection to Leonardo's studies is clear. Yet, the story doesn't end here. A key discovery was made between 1984 and 1989 through infrared reflectography. This technology revealed not only the underdrawing for the figure we see today, but also traces of Leonardo's composition for the Virgin and Child with Santen, now housed in the Louvre. Could it be that Giampietrino had access to Leonardo's original cartoon for this famous work while he was painting the kneeling Leda? The evidence suggests it's possible. The parallels between Giampietrino's Leda and other works by Leonardo imply that he had very direct access to his master's designs. These clues strongly suggest that Giampietrino painted the kneeling Leda in Milan, under Leonardo's supervision, sometime between 1508 and 1513. The Standing Leda. The tale of the Standing Leda begins with its disappearance. We know of the painting only through written sources and a handful of surviving copies. But these copies vary in detail and each tells its own version of the story, which has led scholars to wonder, did Leonardo create more than one version of the Standing Leda? Some believe that he made two different preliminary drawings for the composition, allowing artists like Raphael to put their own spin on the subject. Raphael's drawing of the Standing Leda, along with about a dozen other copies, speaks to the immense popularity of this motif during the Renaissance. But where did the original painting go? A large format Leda attributed to Leonardo himself was mentioned in the inventory of Salai's estate in 1525, Salai being Leonardo's longtime assistant and heir. By 1624, Cassiano dal Pozzo described a Leda by Leonardo residing in Fontainebleau, France. Yet, by 1775, this masterpiece had vanished without a trace, its location unknown, leaving behind only the echoes of its existence. So, what did this Standing Leda look like? We turn to Leonardo's original drawings for answers. These are simple, unremarkable sketches at first glance, yet they hold the key to understanding the lost painting. Leonardo seemed to have taken particular care in his studies of Leda's head, evident from the detailed drawings he left behind. He also sketched various plants which some believe were intended to accompany Leda in the final composition. Could it be that Leonardo never painted the Standing Leda himself, but instead created cartoons that his pupils and assistants used to produce copies? This theory is confirmed by Giorgio Vasari, who wrote Leonardo's biography in 1550, saying that the artist often created the composition and the definitive drawing, and only at the end gave some brush strokes to define the work done by his pupils. But who might have commissioned such a work? Some suggest that Leonardo's first design for the Leda were connected to the marriages and subsequent births within the powerful Sforza family at the Milanese court. Ludovico Sforza, known for his appreciation of classical themes, might have been particularly drawn to the myth of Leda. Another theory posits that Isabella d'Este, a renowned patron of the arts, could have been interested in a Leda composition for her private collection. Though these theories remain speculative, they hint at the possible context in which Leonardo might have conceived this lost masterpiece. A question arises spontaneously. What is the meaning of the work? The swan appears insistent. It is standing upright, stretching its neck upwards and holding the young woman more firmly with one wing. Leda turns away from her lover with her eyes lowered but clasps him with both hands. The frontal view of the female nude offered by the painted copies of Leonardo's composition reinforces their erotic character. Leda's pose and her plastically modeled curves establish a link with antique statues of Venus and hence directly with love. The erotic nature of the theme also reveals itself in the middle ground, with its many bulrushes. These bulrushes, which appear in both the drawings and the paintings, bear dense cylindrical flowers' heads that, when they burst, scatter their seeds far and wide over water and land. Nature's way of making sure that a plant will increase and multiply. Since Leda was loved by the greatest and most powerful of all gods, Zeus himself, the subject was especially suitable for high-ranking court patrons. Furthermore, the children generated represent the fertility of the woman, an element strongly desired by rich and powerful men. For years, art historians believed that this masterpiece was still hidden away in France. But what if I told you that the painting had been hiding in plain sight? This revelation only came to light thanks to the meticulous work of Leonardo's experts. Their groundbreaking research uncovered a crucial error in an inventory that had misled historians for centuries. The confusion dates back to the late 17th century, when an incorrect inventory led many to believe that Leonardo's original Leda was still part of the French collections. In reality, the painting was merely a copy, a version of the Leda that included only 2 children instead of the 4 depicted in Leonardo's original, as last seen by Cassiano del Pozzo in 1625. So, what happened to the original? The trail leads us to 1627, when the 14th Earl of Arundel, Thomas Howard, known as the Collector Earl, acquired the Wilton House painting. Among his many extraordinary acquisitions, which included the Codex Arundel and the Codex Windsor, was Leonardo's Leda and the Swan. From the moment it entered the Arundel collection, the painting was always catalogued as a work by Leonardo himself, a fact well documented in the archives of Wilton House. However, in the early 1900s, during an exhibition at the National Gallery, the painting's attribution was called into question. Based on the mistaken belief that Leonardo's Leda was still in French inventory at the end of the 17th century, art historians reattributed the work to Cesare da Sesto, a known follower of Leonardo. Leonardo's brilliance lay in his unparalleled technical mastery and his deep understanding of proportion and measurement. The construction of the work is incredibly precise, based on the Vitruvian system to achieve perfect proportions. Moreover, the model for Leonardo's final Leda was Salai, whose androgynous beauty often served as the muse for St. John the Baptist, embodying the duality of masculine and feminine virtues. According to this theory, this painting is the original version from which the other copies originated. Regarding the kneeling Leda, the technique used is not that of Leonardo, and I ask myself, is there an original made by the great master? Thanks to Tuscan for helping me with this research. I think that Renaissance paintings are fascinating because they are full of symbolism and hidden secrets. In this video, 6 will be revealed.